The stock market taking a big tumble this morning, but coronavirus may not be the leading factor in this dip. What else experts are blaming? As coronavirus spreads, how airlines are working with people who want to cancel their travel plans, and how MCAS Miramar is preparing for Californians facing quarantine. And the preparations underway now ahead of a storm headed to San Diego. 10 News Midday starts now.
Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
Welcome on this midday. Let's take a quick look at what's happening with the stock market. You can see we are still down quite a bit, 7.5% with the Dow, but this is even a little bit better than the way we started. We hit more than 2,000 points down. Now, some of the factors with this tumble: the escalating price war over oil between Russia and Saudi Arabia, the effects of the coronavirus outbreak, which we've been talking about now for the last couple of weeks. Millions of people, for example, on lockdown in northern Italy, their events being canceled all around the world. And of course, the impact all of that is having on the travel industry, which has taken a big hit in recent weeks. And that brings us to 10 News anchor Mary McKenzie, who is live outside Lindbergh Field. And Mary, we're seeing some airlines taking steps to work with people who are traveling and want to cancel their plans. So what are you hearing from travel agents, Mary, that say that this is a route that a lot of people seem to want to be taking?
One agent is getting lots of calls. She said travel insurance specifically, that no one, unfortunately, is getting refunded for canceling plans over coronavirus fears. But it is falling to travel agents and airlines to reassure travelers who have fears about delays, about getting sick when they travel abroad potentially, or getting stuck somewhere, or stuck in quarantine upon their return from traveling. Southwest Airlines has announced some new cleaning procedures as well in an email sent to customers to try to reassure them. It touted its new cleaning protocol, which involves dousing each plane each night for 6 to 7 hours using the same hospital-grade disinfectant that it uses in cabin bathrooms. Now they're using that throughout the plane. Alaska Airlines doing the same thing with this video it posted to YouTube, and it really just speaks to where we are right now, that these airlines are posting videos about how they clean their airplanes.
For the enhanced cleaning, we've added a few things that will help sanitize and clean the touch points of the aircraft that our guests are seeing and touching as they're sitting on board.
Southwest also touting its policy not to charge for changing or canceling flights. Other airlines changing their policies to do the same, trying to get ahead of the fear that has really taken a hold of an industry that in many ways is in limbo right now as travelers decide whether or not to go somewhere amid these concerns. That local agent says they are definitely feeling the impact, with people holding off on making travel plans as we head into the busy spring break season. They are doing what they can, the airlines obviously as well, to mitigate the situation that is changing day to day. We're live at Lindbergh Field. Mary McKenzie, 10 News.
Thank you, Mary. We want to take you now live to Northern California, and that is the Princess. That's the Grand Princess ship that had been just in a holding pattern off the coast of San Francisco over the last few days, and now it is slowly heading to the port of Oakland, where that's been allowed to dock today. There are 2,400 passengers on the ship and 1,100 crew members, and many of those passengers, once they get to Oakland, will be whisked away to military installations. You can see it getting close to the bridge there in San Francisco. A lot of military installations are getting ready. In fact, MCAS Miramar is getting ready to house some of the California passengers who've been stuck on this ship. At least 21 people on that ship have tested positive for coronavirus. 10 News reporter Marie Cornell live at Miramar this morning. Marie, any idea when those passengers will finally be arriving there?
Well, Virginia, I believe, just like what you said, everyone's kind of watching when that ship docks. After it docks, those passengers will be screened and then they will be brought here to Miramar. Meanwhile, military officials are preparing for their arrival.
It's not a matter of if, but a matter of when the passengers that have been trapped on this cruise ship because of the coronavirus will arrive at MCAS Miramar for a 14-day quarantine. And this will all depend on when the ship docks. We do know the passengers will be staying in the same 2 buildings the last group stayed in during their quarantine. The groups are made up of Americans who were evacuated from China. Hundreds of them stayed on base. Miramar officials say at this point They don't even know how many passengers will arrive, but they say the two buildings that have been designated for use can accommodate about 500 people. Military officials also say, just as in the last quarantine, they're working on notifying the families that live on base. The plan is to hand out flyers, letting them know about the situation and offer reminders about how they can keep healthy.
I'm also told by military officials that they are working to organize another informational town hall meeting, very similar to the one they held last time for those that live and work on base. Live near MCAS Miramar, Marie Cornell, 10 News.
Thank you, Marie. All of this is coming as governments around the globe urge caution. As ABC's Andrea Fujii reports, U.S. officials are urging everybody, but in particular older folks who are most at risk, to be extra careful.
The State Department urging Americans to avoid taking cruises, especially people with underlying health concerns.
Right now, not wait until things get worse. Say no large crowds, no long trips, and above all, don't get on a cruise ship.
The number of COVID-19 cases continues to rise around the world, now at more than 110,000. Here in the U.S., there are more than 500 confirmed cases and nearly 24 deaths. A majority of deaths occurring in Washington state, where the outbreak centered at an elder care facility. The number of cases in New York also rising at more than 100. 32-year-old physician's assistant James Kai says he tested positive for the virus last week after attending a medical conference in New York City.
They are surprised it can be turned out that bad so quickly, and I'm so young. I don't drink, I don't smoke.
New York Governor Cuomo declaring a state of emergency and criticizing the CDC.
CDC, wake up, let the states test, let private labs test, let's increase as quickly as possible our testing capacity.
That was Andrea Fujii reporting, and that state of emergency announcement in New York is coming as we learn the executive director of the New York and New Jersey Port Authority has tested positive for coronavirus. Vanessa?
Well, just into the 10 News Live Center, the Italian Olympic Committee has suspended all sports in the country effective now through April 3rd. The suspension does not include international competitions, meaning teams in the Champions and European League will still play, and this all comes amid the global coronavirus scare. Italy is among the countries with the highest national totals of confirmed coronavirus cases, behind China. Virginia.
All right, thank you, Vanessa. Now, coming up at 11:30, financial analyst Dennis Brewster will be joining us live right here on set for a more in-depth look at the stock market tumble this morning and how people with investment should be responding. In the meantime, for the latest updates on the market and the coronavirus, be sure to download our free 10 News smartphone app. Another big story. San Diegans bracing for a big storm this week, and county officials want people to be ready for the possibility of flooding. In Sorrento Valley, crews have already posted signs, and some roads are blocked off in preparation for wet weather this week.
It's not busy right now, but I'm sure once the rain starts, the people will start coming.
Flooding could hit low-lying areas, but we do need the rain. According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, San Diego may be in the clear for a drought right now, but it can get dry quickly, as you know, in the months to come. You're looking at a homeless encampment off 35th Street in City Heights going up in flames overnight. Neighbors who live along that canyon had to temporarily evacuate from their homes as firefighters worked to put out that fire. It started just before 1 this morning. Took crews about 15 minutes to get the bulk of those flames out. No buildings were damaged. San Diego police say they detained 3 transients they saw running from the scene. Investigators still looking into the cause. A person is in the hospital with serious injuries this morning after being hit by a car in Santee. We have video from our 10 News Breaking News tracker. It happened about 5 this morning near the intersection of Mast and Magnolia. The driver did stay at the scene. It is not clear yet how badly hurt that person is. A man is recovering in the hospital, meanwhile, after a 3-car crash on the 125 early this morning. Police say the collision happened just after 4 on the northbound lanes in La Mesa. 3 cars collided. One of them rolled several times. You saw it end up on its side. Good Samaritans helped that driver out of the car. That person was taken to a hospital. The cause of the crash is still under investigation.